I thought I was giving my son the world when I bought him a Lamborghini. I didn't know I was handing him the key to losing everything. I just wanted him to feel proud, to feel seen. I never imagined my gift would nearly kill him or break the only bond we had left. My name is Victor. I'm 50. I built my company from the ground up. No help, no shortcuts, just hard work, sleepless nights, and a dream. I wasn't always present. I missed birthdays, school plays, even his first football game. But I told myself I was doing it all for him. My son's name is Aiden. He's 18 now. Smart, quiet, a little distant. He's always been like that. Sensitive, careful with his words. He never asked for much. Maybe that's what made me want to give him everything, to make up for the time I couldn't give. When he graduated high school with honors, I felt proud, but also guilty. Guilty for not being the kind of dad who helped with homework or sat at the dinner table every night. So I did what I knew best. I gave him something big, something unforgettable. Aiden had always loved cars. Posters on his walls, videos on his phone. He could tell you every engine spec of any exotic model. I saw the way his eyes lit up at auto shows. That's why I bought it. A brand new Lamborghini Huracan, matte black. His dream. The day I gave it to him, he stood there in silence. No screams, no tears, just shock. Then a small smile. "Are you serious?" he asked. I nodded. "You earned it." I thought it would be a moment he'd remember forever. And it was. Just not the way I hoped. At first, everything felt perfect. Aiden drove the car with wide eyes and quiet awe. I thought maybe, just maybe, we'd finally connected. But something shifted. He started staying out late, coming home without a word. His texts grew shorter, his eyes more distant. The Lamborghini became more than a car. It was his new identity. People stared. Strangers asked for photos. Girls suddenly showed interest. Social media blew up. I watched his followers rise like a stock chart. And with every click, he drifted further from me. He stopped eating dinner with me, said he wasn't hungry, or that he was out. I told myself it was just teenage independence, but deep down, I knew. He didn't need me anymore. He had something louder, faster, shinier, something I gave him. I tried to talk to him, asked how school plans were going, if he needed help applying to college. He shrugged me off. "I've got time," he said. "I might take a gap year." That wasn't like him. He used to be focused, driven. Now he only cared about speed. I started hearing things. From neighbors. From my ex-wife. He was flying down Main Street last night. My daughter says he ran a red light. I confronted him. He rolled his eyes. "I know what I'm doing," he said. "You gave me the car. What did you think I'd do with it?" That night, I stood in the garage alone, staring at the car. Its sleek, perfect frame. My reflection looked warped in the paint. I had thought I was giving him confidence. What if I had given him a weapon? What if this wasn't a gift, but a test I had failed? It came to a head on a Thursday night. Aiden walked in past midnight. No message. No warning. I was waiting, pacing. When I saw him, I didn't even yell. I just asked, "Do you think this is normal?" He rolled his eyes and said, "You're not my warden, Dad." That hit harder than I expected. I said, "I'm your father, and I'm trying to keep you alive." He laughed, cold, like I was overreacting. "You gave me a Lambo and now you're mad I use it?" He snapped. "Don't act like you care." I froze. "Don't act like I care?" The words burned in my chest. "I worked my whole life for you. Everything I have, I gave to you." He looked right at me and said, "Yeah, well, maybe I needed a father, not a bank account." Silence followed. A thick, brutal silence. I felt like I had been punched in the throat. I said something I regret to this day. "Maybe you need to crash that car to understand how life works." I didn't mean it. I swear I didn't. But it was out. and I saw his face change. His eyes went flat. Cold. Right, he said. Thanks for the keys and the life lesson. He stormed upstairs. I stood in the hallway, heart pounding, regret already crawling up my spine. I wanted to take it back, to chase him, but I didn't. I just stood there. That was the last full conversation we had before everything changed. The last moment I had the chance to stop what was coming, but I let my anger speak louder than my love. And that mistake would haunt me more than anything else I've done. It happened 3 nights later. Rain poured hard. I was watching TV when my phone rang. Unknown number. A woman's voice said, "Are you Aiden's father?" My chest tightened. "There's been an accident," she said. "He's alive, but you need to come now." I didn't ask questions. I just ran. The hospital lights were too bright. The halls too quiet. I found him in a room full of machines. His face was bruised. Arm in a sling. Leg in a brace. Eyes closed. My boy still silent. I nearly collapsed. A nurse touched my shoulder. "He was lucky," she said. "They told me he hit a tree. Wet road. Lost control. Speed unknown." The car was totaled. Wrapped around the trunk like paper if he hadn't been wearing his seatbelt. The doctor began. I couldn't hear the rest. My ears were ringing. My mouth tasted metal. I sat beside him all night, watching him breathe, remembering every moment. His first steps. His first bike. Every missed birthday. Every business call I took instead of dinner. Every time I thought money could fix what presents never gave. And most of all, the last words I said. He woke up in the morning, looked at me. No tears, just pain, physical and emotional. I said, "I'm here." He looked away, said nothing. I don't blame him. Because the truth is, I handed him those keys. I wrapped up pressure, pride, and pain in horsepower and leather, and I called it love. The doctors said he'd recover. Bones heal, bruises fade. But what about trust? What about the look in his eyes when he turned his face away from me? That didn't look like pain. It looked like disappointment. It looked like someone who no longer believed in the man beside his bed. I stayed at the hospital every day. Brought food he didn't eat. Asked questions he didn't answer. I tried jokes. Stories from when he was little. Nothing worked. It was like talking to a closed door. My son was alive, but the part that trusted me was gone. I sold the car. What was left of it? Donated the money to a youth rehab center. Aiden never asked. Never mentioned it. But I hoped maybe, just maybe, he'd notice I was trying, not to erase what happened, just to make something right with what was left. My ex-wife visited often. She sat with him, held his hand. Sometimes they laughed. That hurt more than I expected, because it reminded me that someone else had been there when I wasn't. Someone who showed up when I sent gifts instead. I wrote him letters, left them on his nightstand. He didn't read them, at least not when I was there. I poured everything into those pages. My regrets, my anger at myself, my love, my fear. I told him I failed, not because I bought the car, but because I didn't know him well enough to see he didn't need it. One day, as I walked in, he turned his head and asked, "Why didn't you just talk to me?" My throat closed. My hands trembled. I said I didn't know how, and that was the truest thing I ever said to him. Because love is easy to feel but hard to speak when you've built walls instead of bridges. It's been 7 months. Aiden walks again. Drives again, something modest this time. Something safe. We talk more now. Not a lot. Not like before. But when we do, it feels real. Honest. No luxury in the way. Just truth. And silence that doesn't hurt as much. I still replay that moment, the one where I gave him the key. I thought I was giving him joy. Freedom. A reward. But I wasn't listening. I was covering up my guilt with speed and status. Hoping he'd love me more if I wrapped it in horsepower. I've learned that some gifts don't heal, they hide. That showing up matters more than showing off. That no engine can carry the weight of absence. I tried to replace presents with a machine. It nearly cost me my son. I haven't bought him anything since the accident. No gadgets. No big gestures. Just time. Dinners we cook together. Walks. Conversations that start awkward and end in laughter. And maybe, just maybe, that's the gift he needed all along. I'll never fully forgive myself. And maybe he won't either. But I can live with that. Because now I know love isn't loud. It doesn't need a roar. Sometimes it's the quiet moments, the ones you almost miss, that matter most. So I ask you this. If you had one chance to show someone you love them, would you choose something they can drive or something they can feel forever?